This is the regular board meetings of March 6, 2025. It is now 3:07. We will begin roll call.
President Doe,
Present.
Vice President Lay,
Here.
Clerk Chavez. Here. Member Herrera,
Here.
Member Cortese.
Here.
Thank you.
With regard to closed session item 2.07, the board will be discussing and considering in closed sessions a threat of litigations against the district submitted by the law firm of Shankman and Hughes and received by the district on February 14, 2025, alleging violation of the California Voting Rights Act. A copy of the February 14, 2025 letter is available from the district upon request. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment to the board on a closed session agenda item at this time?
We have no in-person nor online public comment.
The board will now recess to closed sessions. We will now resume open sessions. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Thank you and welcome. Item 4.01, any person may address the board on any item on the meeting agenda. Information explaining board meeting procedure and how members of the public can address the board will be read. Persons wishing to address the board may participate and comment as follows. In-person public comment may be made in persons in the meeting room by filling out a public speaker request form at the room entrance. One of these. When your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. You may also raise your virtual hand in Zoom to request to speak and offer comment in real time. You will have 2 minutes to speak. Persons may also fill out a speaker request form via online submissions. Comments should be limited no more than 1,000 characters in length. Please reference in your submission the agenda item number for your comment. Your comment will be read out loud as part of the public meeting. Please note, regular and special meetings of the Board of Trustees and Board study sessions are streamed live on meeting night and also available for viewing the day after the meeting by accessing the district YouTube channel listed on the district webpage at www.ESUHSD.org under the quick link sections. The board is not able to respond to items that are not on the agenda on any personnel issues. Your comment will be read into the record and will be directed to the superintendent and all the appropriate staff member for response. Interpretations of this meeting in Spanish and Vietnamese can be heard by accessing the link and following the instructions shown on the agenda and the district website.
President, if I may have a moment
Yes, sir.
to make a comment. It's important for the community to know that this board has built strong relationships with each other over the past few years. And this has been the basis over the last couple of weeks for reaching out to one another to communicate and to reclaim a ground of collegiality and partnership. I want to acknowledge you, Mr. President, for your leadership in initiating a type of communication that has led to the unity that we have enjoyed and continue to enjoy to this moment. This board is experiencing a sense of mutual respect while holding that we're unique and hold differences, all of which are serving the East Side community. So I'm just really happy to report that there has been a strengthening of relationships among all five of us. And Mr. President, you had a lot to do with that. Thank you very much.
Colleagues, any additional comments?
I'll just, I'll say for me, it's important, for there to be dialogue amongst leadership. And dialogue does not necessarily mean 100% like we have the same idea all the time. I think there is a lot of power in being able to speak to each other, to understand each other, or, do our best to seek to understand and find a path forward. And I am feeling a lot of confidence that we are committed to orienting that way, and just seeking to understand so that we can have the strongest leadership to support our greater East Side community. And I am just really hopeful. And I have a lot of gratitude for every single board member on this dais.
I want to say that communication is a key that all of us want to commit, even though we have differences, but we want to work together to move the district to the next level, even though even though we will go through the most challenged time as what we face right now in the district, in the community. That's how I can see. So I want to say, yeah, thank you of the leadership of our board president, and hope that we continue to work together for better of our district.
I appreciate all you.
I'd also like to take a quick moment to thank my colleague and acknowledge them. So first of all, we will at moments we'll have different opinion. We will disagree. I hope that as we move forward, we will learn to engage with each other with disagreement without being disagreeable. I know that we have made some initial steps in the last few weeks, but I think there are more work to be done. We have an upcoming retreat. We will continue to work on it so that we can learn to appreciate, acknowledge, and find a way to move the district forward together. Specifically, I also want to take this moment to acknowledge my colleagues on the right about our collegiate relationship and the improvement we made. But that's also had a start. When I got elected on this board initially, there was a person on this board who raised money so that we could have eventual training, so that we don't use tax money that intended for our students, but for our improvement. I just want to acknowledge my colleague, Trustee Cortese, in doing that amazing work and making sure that we have a starting point so that when we do have disagreement, we find a pathway to work together. So I thank you for having that foresight and for doing that work to make it possible for all of us to move forward and work together. And I know that we will have disagreement. That's the reality of life, and that's okay. And we just have to do it in a manner that we don't appear to be disagreeable for the public. And that's what we hope from our students. We will do our best to hold ourselves accountable toward that goal. That being said, and that we now have the public comment by the member of the public, I would like to start with Ms. Sarah Gianocaro. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. And feel free to correct me when you're on the podium.
Not to silence you, but we do have to go in order.
Forgive me, Sarah.
We'll try to go as quickly as possible.
Oh my God. All right. Item 5.0, the superintendent and the board member may request item to be removed from the agenda for considerations and/or carried to future board meeting for consideration and/or actions, and/or that the board take actions at a regular meeting on a subject not listed on the public agenda on an emergency basis or all the basis allowed by law, Government Code 4954.2. So Superintendent, please help me.
Yeah, we're gonna ask that we move 1102 to the subsequent meeting.
1102.
Yes.
Right, that will be on the next board meetings. Thank you. Anything else?
And you're the team, right? Okay, so we're good to go. All right,
All right.
we're fine on the other item then.
Good. Anything else? Good. All right. Item 7.0, Katie Hyung, Student Governing Board Representative.
Hi, everyone. So at the last SGB meeting, we primarily focused on promoting our annual student input poll. And I'm really happy to report that we went from 24 to 124 responses in 3 days. Yeah, so I'm really happy. We have so many students that have responded and so many SGB members who have helped push this out. I think it's, out of the years I've been part of SGB, it's probably the biggest outreach we've had. So I'm really glad that we have a lot of different responses. Our goal is to have 500 responses, so we're going to still keep pushing that out. So far, the main concerns that we have from students that they have submitted is school safety and school climate and the cleanliness of campuses, and those are their biggest concerns. Yeah, but we're going to keep dissecting the data in the coming weeks, and we're really, really happy that so many students have responded.
8.01, the superintendent and or member may request an item be considered, discussed, and act out of the order indicate on the agenda as per schedule. I believe we have a request, do we not?
We do not.
No, okay. 8.02, presentation, annual discussion, no action to receive Citizen Bond Oversight Committee, 2023-2024 Bond Program Annual Report for Manager GEI Technologies I, Z, and N. Associate Superintendent Tom Huynh.
And I should defer to Mr. Chris Roberts.
Okay, welcome. Thank you.
And Mr. Roberts, I want to thank you for being here and all your work. And I want to thank that person for being here as well and making, allowing your dad to do this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, board, for having me this evening and listening. What I'm going to present to you this evening is the document from the Community Bond Oversight Committee, which I'll refer to as the CBOC from here on out to prevent everybody's ears from exploding. My name is Chris Roberts. I'm currently the acting chairperson for the organization, for the committee. And tonight I'll be giving you a very brief overview of this. This is in all of your email for your further review and acceptance. The Citizens Bond Oversight Committee is a group of parents, residents, students, and taxpayer volunteers who review bond expenditures on behalf of the Eastside Union High School District community, affirming proper use of the bonds, which have been approved by voters in support of the Eastside students since 2002. Eastside Comprehensive High Schools range from over 73 years old to its youngest campus, which is now approximately 10 years old. Just like our homes, they go through a lot of use and abuse and just ordinary wear and tear. And that infrastructure and equipment have a certain lifespan and it needs to be modernized and replaced. So this annual report details how those home tax dollars that have been paid from the community to prepare school campuses for their students and the communities and the staff to create the state-of-art education and recreation facilities and learning environment that will help our students be prepared for success. Please let us know if you have any questions after this is presented to you this evening. Some of the standard questions that come up when working with some folks in the committee to understand this annual report, which over the last 6 years, if you've been on the board for a while and you've actually read some of these, our goal has been to really make this community friendly. Slim it down, make it easier to digest. And if you look at it from a few years ago, it was about twice as thick, and now it has been condensed and more picture friendly for the eyes. The report addresses some of the most frequently asked questions, such as where do bond funds come from? How are the bond funds spent? How is the neighborhood school impacted? Why bond oversight committee is why the bond oversight committee is required? Who is responsible for the reporting? And how can someone take a seat at the board and be part and active in the community? If we can go to page 4, who's who's running the page here today? It's that guy. Thank you. I like that guy. All right, page 4 pretty much covers it includes a simple tax bill and a tax rate information. I think we'd all agree most of us aren't tax agents, so some of it's a little overwhelming, and we try to simplify that with an explanation. If we go to page 5, it provides information such as why would you want to get involved with the Community Bond Oversight Committee, the CBOC, how to get involved, and where to find more information on that. As a shameless plug, we are currently doing and accepting applications for the CBOC. If anybody wanted to understand and download this document at a later time, they can go to www.thebond.esuhsd.org. We can go to page 6. Page 6 provides a background information on bond measures and a timeline that the school district facilities and how they've been used. That is for bonds G, E, I, and technology bonds I, Z, and N. And that, I know that's all Greek for most folks, but it's in the document. You can read it to understand it. Pages 7 through 9 will provide financial information, an overview of the bond measures and expenditures. Also includes an audit review results. And this is really key for what we do because we actually oversee the spending that the school district is doing with these bonds. The auditor issued an unqualified opinion that no deficiencies or allowances or unallowable expenses were discovered that should not be charged to the bond program. The audit was received and accepted by the Board of Trustees on January 23rd of 2025. That means that you're doing the right thing. Page 10 provides highlights and updates on the progress and achievements of technology initiatives that support areas such as community wireless, campus safety, and district network, et cetera, different programs that affected local community. So in closing, that was a pretty big document. It was very hard to sparse down, actually. In closing, there's a couple of steps that are required. One is obviously presenting to the board for approval and exception. The second part is the distribution. The annual report will be distributed to the community by the end of March. It'll be distributed in an electronic copy that will be posted on the Community Bond Oversight Committee's website, the CBOC. Once again, that is www.thebond.esuhsd.org for anybody listening. Website, and it'll also be sent via Canvas and or via the other communication platforms that the school sites use to connect with their parents. It does not require anybody to be part of this bond other than having a student and being somebody in the community, so please do apply. The report will also be emailed out to the Eastside Union, the Eastside community contacts such as city official offices, Chamber of Commerce, and various other organizations within the district boundaries. So with that, I'd like to present to you the official annual report from the Community Bond Oversight Committee, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Roberts, and thank you for your family for being here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your service. That committee, lot of very committed folks there, and we're so grateful because these funds wouldn't be possible without your work, because you give the community the confidence and faith in us to make these investments in our schools. So I'd like to move to approve to receive the report.
No other comment. Motions. I think you want about to say
Just
something.
ditto to that. Just thank you for all the time and energy, because this is important. And it is important that we have community members here, parents, so really appreciate it.
Before we take a vote, one last comment by Trustee Lake.
I also want to echo that the community will look into on this report, and we'll be glad to see that taxpayer money go to the right direction. And we all appreciate all of this work from staff and everyone that put in to make this citizen bond committee's works. Thank you.
I believe it's. Thank you. I believe.
Yeah. Hey, if I may, just to jump in here.
Yes.
As we went through the presentation, you'll see the last one there that's listed as Measure N. And you'll see that in November of 2022, right? Just 3 years ago, that the community of Eastside and those with students in our schools and those without voted to approve a bond that's over $500 million, $572 million to continue to invest in its students. I just want to thank the community for that. But I know that part of what allows us to be successful in going to the community and making that request to support and them saying yes to that is the good work of the bond program, the oversight from the board, and also the fact that there is a group of citizens who take a night and go to a site and review the work and look at the auditing and make sure that the intent of what we said we're going to do with public funds is what we actually do with public funds. So I want to thank everybody who's on that committee for doing that, because it goes a long way for citizens to be able to say, yeah, because they're not just telling it to me. A group of citizens like me is saying that they're spending it the right way. So thank you, because you're a big part in why that passed. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe the motion was made by trustee Cortese, second by Herrera. Colleagues, sorry, Katie, how do you vote? Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passed, 5-0. Now we get to the public comment. Members of the public may address the board on any subject not on tonight's agenda. However, provision of Brown Act, Government Code Section 54.2A and 54954.3 preclude any actions as an unagendized item. No response is required from the board or district staff, and no action can be taken. However, the board may instruct the superintendent to agendize the item for a future meeting. Any person may address the board on any item on the meeting agenda. Person wishing to address the board may participate and comment as follows. In person, the public comment may be made in person in the meeting room by filling out a public speaker request form at the room entrance. When your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. You may also raise your virtual hands in Zoom to request to speak and offer comment in real time. You will have 2 minutes to speak. Persons may also fill out speaker request form via online submissions. Comments should be limited to no more than 1,000 characters in length. Please reference in your submission the agenda item number in your comment. Your comment will be read out loud as part of the public meeting. All right. Welcome back, Ms. Sarah Giancarlo, and I apologize for getting too excited in public comment earlier.
All right, my name is Sarah Giancarlo, and I was born and raised in San Jose, a product of San Jose Unified Schools and San Jose State University. I worked as a paraeducator for local school districts while I was in occupational therapy school, and then spent 5 years working in San Jose Unified. And for the last 20, I've been at Santa Clara County Office of Education, where I'm also the chapter president for the Classified Union. My daughter's a freshman with a 504 plan at Santa Teresa High School. I'm here to defend public education and hope that the decisions this board makes keep students at the center. Due to lean economic times, I started my freshman year of high school with only 5 periods instead of 6, and later worked through our districts having 5 furlough days. I hope we don't get to that point. Have you asked leadership to brainstorm with all staff, including those on the ground level working with students, about how costs could be reduced? In my experience, treating staff with respect by including everyone in the process also results in a wider range of ideas. So far, it appears that the majority of all classified, certificated, and administrative positions are at school sites. Are positions at the district office being considered that may have less impact on students? Do all comprehensive sites need the same number of administrators, or do sites with more students in general, or more ELL students, or more special education students need additional support? Equity does not mean equal. Can campuses with lower enrollment house alternative programs on the corner of their campus like San Jose Unified does, instead of maintaining so many separate locations? Is it time to consider consolidating with the TK to 8 districts to reduce overhead, especially in the light of the fact that so many schools are being closed? Can healthcare costs be reduced by using other brokers, like joining CISC or CalPERS? How can the district better serve special education, ELL, foster and homeless youth, migrant ed, and other subgroups that are not performing as well? It's easier to be a leader when COLAs are high, the economy's on an upswing, enrollment is climbing, and federal funding is not in jeopardy. I recognize that these are the most challenging times, and as you make these difficult decisions, I urge you to use an equity lens and be as transparent as possible by providing both the data and the rationales behind the decisions that are made. Thank you.
Good, thank you. My name's Ashley Ward. I have a junior at Santa Teresa High School. I'm also a former student at Santa Teresa High School. I am on the school site council as a voting member and part of our PTO. All that being said, I think that it gives me a unique experience having the conversations with the parents and the teachers and the staff at Santa Teresa High School to talk to you guys about district accountability. Based off of the information that was provided last board meeting, there is a lack of ownership, I think, at the district level for the California school dashboard data. If you look at the data that is coming out of our schools at the individual site levels and as the district as a whole, we're failing our students on almost every single level. Our English learners are suffering the most. In addition to that lack of leadership, we're now being faced with poor budgeting and financial responsibility. The term kick the can down the road was used at the last board meeting, which shows that for a number of years, we've known that this was coming. My son was a student at Minor the years leading up to when they closed. They closed 3 schools that year in the Oak Grove School District. We knew that this was coming. You guys should have known that this was coming. The signs were there. And to use your own term, the can was kicked down the road for a later date, hoping for a better outcome. I agree with Sarah in treating our staff as equal partners in the decision-making. The teachers and the staff at the school level are there, boots on the ground every single day, helping our students navigating teenagehood, navigating becoming an adult. Sorry, I'm running over on time. Thank you. All that being said, you guys voted on this. You guys approved it. You guys bear the responsibility for what happens to our students moving forward with this decision. And I hope that that's not taken lightly because it's going to impact them for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Next speaker, Juana Pino. Same rule, you will have 2 minutes. At a 2-minute mark, you will see me wave this. I won't cut you off. I'll let you finish your sentence, but if you kindly not start another sentence if you don't mind, please. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Juana Pino, and I am here to formally express my deep concern and frustration regarding a recent incident involving my son, who was violently assaulted off campus by fellow students from Santa Teresa High School. Despite the severity of this incident, the students responsible for this assault and past assaults against other students on campus are still permitted to participate in extracurricular activities, including the football team, dances, prom, walking for graduation, and so on. Meanwhile, my son has suffered not only physically and emotionally, but also academically, which is now jeopardizing potential soccer scholarships. A school should be a place where students feel safe, valued, and protected. I urge the school board to reconsider its policies on addressing violent behavior and to ensure that all students, regardless of their status, are held to the same standards of conduct. If a student has a no-contact contract in place, which isn't usually followed, and a safety plan is implemented because of them, they shouldn't be allowed to participate in extra activities. I ask you, what kind of example do we want to set? What kind of environment do we want to create? Allowing individuals who have engaged in violent behavior to continue representing the school in extracurricular activities activities undermines this principle and diminishes the seriousness of their actions. It suggests that participation in school events is a privilege granted regardless of conduct, rather than something earned through good behavior and respect for others. I ask you to please revise students' rights number 2 and 3, students' responsibility number 2, and board responsibilities number 2. If you need more details, you have them on the email I sent all of you a couple of days ago, and I also brought hard copies for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Jack Hamner, as the representative of ESTA, you will be given 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name's Jack Hamner. I am the president of Eastside Teachers Association, and I'm going to make a quick comment tonight. This comment, question, or ask is of you, President Doe. You're, from what I understand, a guy of high integrity, and I think that you and your role as a president of the school board have a responsibility to uphold the integrity of our school board members and our school district all at the same time. And on February 13th, here in this very room at a board meeting, there was things that were said from Trustee Herrera, Trustee Lay, and Trustee Chavez that, in my opinion, in my belief, were things that violated the Brown Act. I submitted a statement to all of you, and I got a very, what I would consider to be a wishy-washy response from your legal team. So what I am asking of you is, if you really are that person of integrity that you claim to be, and you want to uphold the integrity of this board and this district, then I'm asking for a formal investigation into what happened at the February 13th board meeting to be looked into as far as violations of the Brown Act. Thank you.
Mr. Julio Pardo, you will be given 5 minutes as representative of CSEA.
Julio Pardo, President, Chapter 187 East Foothills, California School Employees Association. The speakers previous to me have spoken on several things to you all, and I have a lot of thoughts on that too. But I think I'm holding that until the next board meeting in March, because I'm still doing some personal investigations into how this district, we feel, can allocate money other ways other than releasing employees of the district. We think that we feel that you as a board should consider the fact that your employees choose to work in the Eastside High School District and work with students that are here in the Eastside High School District. And at times I wonder, and we wonder, why this board spends money on other groups who choose not to be employees of the district, but work for other groups that you hire to come onto our campuses for whatever reason. And I'm wondering whether those groups are being eliminated or not. Because if they're not, it really concerns us as to why not. Why let your own people go and keep others who are not part of the employee staff of this district? That's all I want to say on that. I really want to say something positive. This past weekend, a negative thing happened at Andrew Hill. We got hit hard by some criminals. That's all I can say. They were criminals. And this district, thanks to the IT department and the maintenance department, was able to put everything together, I would say within 48 hours or less, so that we were able to conduct school on Monday. I don't think it was the best, but it was, at least things worked for us. And that's the kind of thing I expect to see from this district. When our employees are able to go out and do things to make things right for the students and staff of our schools. So I'm hoping that you consider that in the future as we go through these tough times. And the last thing I have to say is, based on what my colleague from the East Side Teachers Association has said, it's the first thing I've heard about this. I'm a little concerned about it. So I'm hoping you will consider his request and do as he asks. Thank you.
Item 11.01, discussion. I'm sorry, there's one more?
We have one more in-person comment, and then also there'll be some online written comment. We have 4 online written comment after that.
We have a last minute additions to the public comment. Adeline is the next speaker. You will be given 2 minutes. And at the end of that 2 minutes, if you can kindly wrap up the sentence. Thank you.
Oh. Hello, everyone. I'm Adeline Lee from Independence. I'm a junior and I'm a representative on the Student Governing Board. I would like to bring to attention the upcoming WASC visits. So at my school recently, there's been several teachers that are uncredentialed to teach. And I am a student of one of those teachers. And it was in the subject of Spanish 3. And because he was uncredentialed this whole year, it was not caught on that he was not teaching his students properly, including me. So students that wanted to go on to AP Spanish 4 or just wanted to learn Spanish in general, they were not taught correctly. And they were not taught at all because of the credentials. And even after he got his credentials, he still didn't meet the requirements that a teacher should meet. I really think that we should put an emphasis on catching when new teachers are hired early and seeing like the signs of them not being suitable to teach. Because if it's caught too late, such as now, he was only just being replaced now and still he is not replaced yet. And it's the middle of second semester already. I really think there should be an emphasis and maybe even WASC visits at the beginning or middle of the first semester to catch on to these the teacher credentials and if they're meeting the requirements correctly. Thank you.
I believe there are 5 comments online. 4, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Public comment from community member Mila Mendoza. Hello, board members and staff. My name is Mila Mendoza, and I am a former student at Andrew Hill High School. I am also a former member of the Student Governing Board during the 22-23 school year. During my participation in the Student Governing Board, the members at the time were concerned with sex education. I wondered if there are any new operations since 2023, particularly in the district, if the district is utilizing a different curriculum or organization for sex education this upcoming year. Thank you for your time. Public comment from student JP Diaz. As a proud student of Evergreen Valley High School, I was rightfully disappointed when I heard of the removal plan of our district libraries. I'm a firm believer that the removal of our district's libraries will result in a disappointing future for my less fortunate peers who may struggle to access literature due to financial dispositions and responsibilities. Our current library and librarian has always provided a safe place to read and decompress from the anxieties of a school environment. Books are known to have a number of pedagogical and mental health benefits, such as stress management, which students like me benefit from. I strongly believe that the action to remove our district's libraries will be to the detriment of my peers' educations. Nothing good has ever come from removing students' access to books. Please don't remove our libraries. Public comment from student Nisa Keshwani. Our school library holds a special place in my heart. The space not only has books that have changed my perspective, it holds a community. The library has been a safe haven for me to learn unapologetically. It is my place to explore new genres and discuss them with like-minded peers. I cannot imagine a school without a library, and I urge you to reconsider the closure decisions being made. Public comment from Chiaki Miki, student. A library without a librarian isn't a library. The library has always been a place for students to de-stress from our daily worries and read calmly without any distractions. Miss Katie, our librarian, has been nothing but kind to us, offering educative insights on books and recommending new books to read. Furthermore, removing libraries would not only leave a devastating impact for students, but for the school as well, since less people will be interested in reading, which would result in lower overall test scores. Please, for the sake of our learning and literacy, reconsider taking away our libraries. That is the end of online public comment.
Thank you. Item 11.01, discussions and no action regarding 2025 California School Board Association Delegate Assembly elections. Superintendent Fantasi, please.
Yeah, so in a minute, I'll pull up the ballot, and so you're being asked to vote in for no more than 4. You don't have to vote for, but no more than 4, regardless of the number of vacancies. And you cannot cast more than 1 vote for 1 candidate. You can't vote for 1 candidate 4 times. Legally, it's not a good practice. So I'm going to pull that up. And
There's a
then-
law against that, I think.
There's laws against that, yeah. So again, so here you see those, the names of those who have been nominated. There are 7 names up for, who have been nominated, and you can pick up to 4.
I recognize a couple of names on that list. Let's start with one of my colleagues to the right. I believe Trustee Leah is on that list.
Yes, I'm on that list, and I was selected as CSBA delegate for 2 terms, and I'd like to continue for the next election. And I know that due to decline in enrollment, we had 7 candidates, but only 4 spots. But I just want to remind that, we have a chance if we vote for all 4, then the chance to get reelected will very slim. And I remember that last 2 years, we also recognize, some other candidate that fit the district with us, but have been involved with us, in the process. So that's how I want to lay out to our board, and looking forward for the approval and the election. So I'll be able to represent the voice of East Side as well as the voice of Asian American students. Yes.
So in essence, what I'm hearing, Trustee Lay, is that by voting for 1 or 2 is sort of like voting twice for the same, like so it just increases the odds of, yeah. Yeah, so I would like to make a motion that we vote for Van Lay and George Sanchez, who is also East Sider.
I was thinking the same.
Second.
Yes? Okay. I believe what I'm hearing, just want to clarify, is that the motion is to support Trustee Lay and Trustee George Sanchez from Franklin McKinley. And if I'm understanding correctly, the motion was made by Trustee Cortese, second by Trustee Herrera. Katie, how do you vote? Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimous. Item number 11.2 is skipped into the next board meetings. And we're now going to 13.01, discussion and no action to approve the contract for professional service over $25,000.
Approval.
That's just like, what do you call it?
Recurring.
Recurring
Recurring item, yes. So that Mr.
Okay.
Motion by Trustee Herrera, second by Chavez. Katie, how do you vote? All right, there's no discussion, right? All right, okay. Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. 15.01, discussion and no action to approve the request for bid and approve and proposal award for bond capital projects. Again, this is not the recurring item, but if I need a motions, unless there's a
Move
request for
to
discussion.
approve.
Motion by Cortese, second by Lay. Katie, how do you vote? Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. 1502, discussion and no action to approve the bond capital project contract for professional service of $50,000. Again, another recurring item.
A second.
I heard motion by Chavez, second by Cortese. Katie, how do you vote? Colleagues?
I
Aye, motion passed 5-0. All right, consent calendar. I need a
move to
motion.
approve the consent calendar.
Second,
Motion by Cortese, second by Herrera. Katie, how do you vote? Colleagues?
I
Aye, motion passed 5-0. I am at 22.01, opportunity for Board of Trustee to request item on future agenda. I don't know what preference you have, but I'm just going to start from Trustee Cortese and we work our way this way. Chavez? Lay?
I was wondering that if the district can provide the list of some organizations that have been working with us, like Work to Future or Goodwill or any other organization that's been supporting our program. So I have an idea because I'm on the board, some Work to Future, but I don't know the relationship as well as how would they serving us, our student, as well as how we can work with them.
Would you accept a report or do you prefer a meetings?
No, if I can provide the report, I'm fine.
That'd be
and
great.
if
We
you
can
have a
put something
question-
together. Thank you.
Yes. It's not a rush. When you have chance, then.
Appreciate your patience as well. There's a lot
Thank
going
you.
on.
I will comment on that a little bit later, but like now, like with the trustee area.
I don't have anything on this.
So
Yeah, I think you and I have committed at our one-to-ones to calendar that out and also understanding there have been some recent or even ongoing things that have come into play that have pushed some out, even though staff has been attentive to some of those issues. We'll prioritize that and update the calendar for folks so they know when that's coming.
the reason I ask questions, Superintendent Van is and I spent 90 minutes going through and making additional planning. This is probably the biggest record by far, the amount of time we spend on our one-on-one. But it is important for the public to know that we do prioritize requests by our colleagues and our trustees so that, and we want to be responsive to the email requests from teachers, staff, and parents. And so it is important to us to be to work collaborative so that we can be far more responsive. So in that regard, we'll start prioritizing. We start estimating time where we arrive on the board. Okay. To request other than work on the one that we already have. All right. 2301. I'd like to give opportunity for a board member to make a comment. Let's start with the gentleman to my right, Trustee Herrera.
Thank you. Regarding Metro Ed, we were informed within the last few weeks that San Jose Unified, which passed a bond to invest in teacher housing and which implemented an extensive process to identify or prioritize several sites, and they've decided that Metro Ed is their principal choice, their first choice. And it's going to have an impact on the campus. And there's just a lot that's involved in that. And we're now beginning a process of working with the San Jose Unified team to try to get our respective needs met in that, and just making the board aware of that. And other than that, I just want to again say how much I really appreciate this board and each of you individually. I think we're an amazing board. And I say that with many years of experience in working with many different people and, as part of this board. You guys are really my favorites. So thank you.
believe that we had a meeting with the Santa Clara Accounting Board Associations with all of the trustee last week, and we did make, all of candidate made a presentation for 2 minutes as a candidate for CSBA delegate. I just want to remind our trustee that we do have a SCCSBA branch on this Saturday, March 8th, to mingle and engage and listen to legislator. And I know that during the meeting that one of the agency or person that were talking about the AB 2251 to support the high school homeless student McKinney Vento. So I think this is a good time that we can explore and understand a bit more how can we serve our McKinney Vento student with the AB 2251.
Trustee Chavez.
Okay. So I think as of a few weeks ago, finalized my school visits throughout the district. So I just want to say thank you to all the school leaders, to all the teachers, to all the students, to just the greater East Side community for welcoming me onto the school sites. It's always great to just walk into the classroom, see all the learning that's happening, engage with all the different people that really make a school run. And it's just a great reminder of why we do this work. Honestly, it was just really re-energizing and centering as to why being in this work with the collective is really meaningful. And then also this past week, I had the honor of being the keynote speaker for two Pique graduations, Santa Teresa and Piedmont Hills. And it was really awesome. I knew a few of the parents there, and it's just, it's like full circle of working and advocacy work coming together, and just seeing the district's commitment to leadership and education of our parents. So like in the understanding that it really takes a village to do this work together, I thought was really beautiful. Just so proud of everyone just coming together and doing their part so that our children could ultimately succeed. So that's my.
Trustee Cortese.
Nothing much to add other than what a joy it's been to work with the student governing board. You continue to grow, and we've got two members of the your executive board here tonight, and really amazing leadership. I just want to acknowledge you for that.
I also want to acknowledge the board trustee Cortese that SGB have done just a good job and hold up together. And they will have an Asian American Heritage Festival coming up in May, right? So we'll give it to Katie.
Thank you. So we actually are changing it to multicultural festival because we want to celebrate all of Eastside. Also considering our tentative date won't be in Asian Heritage Month per se, but I also want to reiterate and thank board members Patty and Vaughn for always helping us at the meeting. I remember board member Patty gave us a recommendation in the input poll to like have a little question about what students appreciate and enjoy the most about their school. And I'd like to highlight that many pointed out like the diversity of sports, activities, and clubs and their community is what they really appreciated. But the one most recurring response was the teachers as what they enjoyed and appreciated at school. So I just wanted to reiterate the importance and appreciation for the supportive staff all around the district who help us students inside and outside of the classroom, including the counselors, the staff at the mental health and wellness centers, and everyone else that just helps students in general before and after school to late hours as well. I know reading the responses from the survey, many students are really grateful. So I just wanted to.
And I think we're ending early enough that you could, if you both could stay after the meeting so we could talk about that April 25 date and some of the logistics on that.
And we're going to reschedule the board
I'll
retreat.
get to that in a minute.
Oh,
Is it my turn or?
I just want to take a moment, which I want to brag about one of our departments, our IT departments. And so some of you may not know that our IT department is one of the best that I've ever heard of, and from a school district, and I'm very, very proud of those good folks. They are being honored and recognized for the Hoffman Award. And so I'm looking forward to sharing that accomplishment. But just a quick note, Randy Falv started his job as at district for about 12 years now. When he started out, he had about 20 something employees in that department. There was only 1,800 devices, 1,800 devices. Now we have more than 30,000 devices in the district, and yet it's the same number of staff. So I want to say kudos to him and his team. And as mentioned earlier, there was an incident over the weekends, and he and his team, along with the team from facility and maintenance, have come above and beyond and making sure that by the time Monday arrived, our students was able to receive the service they needed. And I just want to express my gratitude and I'm thankful for all these three teams coming together to support our students on our campus. Thank you.
Yeah, so Randy, Larry, Matt, thanks. I mean, the texts were just flying early Saturday morning after it. And all three of those teams were just there, getting on it, assessing, getting things put back in place, figuring out how to prioritize it. And that was their weekend, right? And so I want to thank them for that. And school starts on Monday, and if you didn't know, you wouldn't even know it happened, right? So thanks for that. Second thing I want to be thankful for is all the staff members that have been able to meet with me. We understand the executive order changed from the current administration as it regards to immigration status. And we've sent out our messages saying this: we'll follow the law, and that schools are the best place for students to be. Our attendance data is telling us that, because our attendance data has actually gone up since that order than before, that students are recognizing that schools are the best place to be. And I think that's in line with the survey data that Katie was talking about earlier. But in meeting with the sites, and next week we'll be meeting with the rest of the sites, and I encourage you to come meet with you if you have any questions about, okay, how do I follow the law? How do I not break the law? How do I hold this space? If someone talks to me about something, what can I say? What can I do? Here to answer those. I'll be there to answer those questions. But what also I hear a lot from folk in meeting with them and talking with some of our students and families, and sometimes this is hard for us to remember because we live in the now and we forget what it's like to be grown up as a teenager. But these are the students that experienced COVID, right? Like the great interruption to their education and to their development are the same students that for many are walking out the door with this kind of this buzz and this fear in the air of like, will parents be here when I get back? Right? And I just want to thank the staff, and I mean all staff, because students are talking to kind of that person they connect with, for just holding a space for our students and dealing with them as humans and just being there for them, not necessarily to solve their problem, not necessarily to give the best advice, but just being there for them and being an intentional and just grounded person that they can run into and have a good day with, learn from, experience in real time that good things are happening in their life right now, despite that. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes control on the part of our adults who are considering other things in their lives and their own stressors, and just being there for each other and our kids is so what Eastside's about. And it's just, it's not a default or a given. It's just kind of what the adults in our systems stand for and continue to. And I just want to thank our community for that, because our students, some of our students aren't hearing this at all, but some of our feeling it heavily. And some of our staff is feeling this heavily. So I just want to thank everybody there for just being with each other. This isn't political stance where you fall on this issue. It's just like being present for each other. And You know, when we look back on the, you know, if you look back at some of these graduating seniors this year, and if you just look back historically, what they will have experienced in the last 8 years of their life is pretty astounding on geopolitical terms, health terms, learning through a laptop, just and just all that's going on. And so I just want to, probably overgoing here, but going off here, excuse me. Just want to thank our community for standing up for each other the way it does, and forever grateful for that.
Katie, did you have additional comment? Was that meet what you wanted to say?
Takes a village. Thanks for helping me out. If you look on the calendar of events, there is a board retreat scheduled for March 15th. Due to some scheduling things, we're going to have to move that to a later date, and so we'll bring at our next board meeting the rescheduled date for that retreat, and we'll get that publicly announced. So don't show up on March 15th for the retreat, but do get online and should sign up for the Parent Empowerment Conference that's going to take place at Andrew Hill. Julio, are we going to be ready? I think so, right? Like on March 15 at Andrew Hill. Great presentations for families about how to get to college, how to pay for college, how to successfully navigate high school, different ways of supporting each other as family, as supporting your students. There's a long list and diverse list of people with a job, people with different careers, pipe fitters, journalists, just a wide array of different options for the future that will be present while parents are in certain sessions. Our students can go and learn more about it, learn how to create a resume, learn how to develop the LinkedIn page that puts you to the front of the line or top of the list. So if you hadn't planned on going, just get on the website. There's a link, sign up so we can make sure there's enough food for you. I would say there's raffles and prizes, but I don't think that's the reason to go. I think the reason to go is that there's great information for our students and our families to just start navigating. How do I go from here to be a full participant in Silicon Valley, which is ultimately our goal for the students and families of this district. So March 15, Andrew Hill, thanks for hosting. I believe we start at 8, go to 2. Can I exaggerate that? It might be 1, but there'll be food there. There'll be great experts in different fields that are just ready to help you develop a positive path for your family and your student.
With the rescheduling of the retreat, so I will be able to attend the event. So I'm looking forward to visiting Andrew Hill and looking forward to seeing Mr. Pardo along with everyone else on that day.
Mr. President, regarding dates, I know I previously said that I was going to be out of town on the April meeting that was scheduled for April 17th, that I was going to be out of town the full week. So, and I'm not recalling at the moment, and my calendar doesn't show any adjustment, but I am. Did we reschedule it? What's the date, the new date?
And again, we don't have to.
We'll figure that out offline.
No,
Well,
it is.
we'll work
I do
together.
have it on the 8th.
Perfect. So
Okay, so
we'll
then
just, we'll
that's
pull
it.
the board starting either tonight or tomorrow to determine what's the best date for the retreat.
Yeah, we'll be able to do that offline and be able to find a way to get all 5 of us in the same room together. So
Okay. Thank
item 2401, legal counsel, are you online?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Closed session item 2.01. The board unanimously approved the stipulated agreement to expulsion for student 2425-003. Closed session item 2.05. The board unanimously approved resolution 2024-2025-22, authorizing the release of 8 temporary employees requiring certification qualifications, including 2 science teachers, 1 ROTC teacher, 2 social science teachers, 1 dance teacher, 1 English teacher, and 1 business teacher, and authorizing and directing the administration to provide notice of the release no later than June 5th, 2025. And this was pursuant to Education Code 44954. And then closed session item 2.07, the board voted unanimously to reject the claim of Jay Norris. There are no further actions to report.
Now 7:22, meeting is adjourned.